When it comes to the older models I own, there are a few that I value the most. And I don't mean value as in how much money is it worth. No, it is how usable is it and will it stand the test of time. And it's these four very specific models from the Essentials line. And this one is the nuvi 54LM. The four models that I speak of is the 42LM, 44LM, 52LM, and this one, the 54LM. I suppose you could also throw in the 30, 40, and 50 because those are also Essentials models, but this in particular, because it has the circle mount on the back instead of the clip. Yes, it is the most basic nuvi ever released, even more basic than the original nuvi 200 from 2007. This is a 2011-2012 model. And well, why do I value it so much? It's for the same reason that some old dudes prefer cars with crank down windows, manual transmissions, no options. It's because there's nothing to break. Or should I say, there's a lot less to break. And that is the situation with this guy right here. If there is anything in all the collection that I have, this will still be the one working 10 years from now. In 2035. It's the end of 2024 right now as I record this, but basically it's 2025. So in 2035, will this still work? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm almost certain of it. It does not have Bluetooth, has no ability to connect to a smartphone. It has no ability to do traffic reporting whatsoever. But it does have a matte screen, which does last longer than the capacitive screen, just for longevity's sake. And it is absolutely 100% compatible with OpenStreetMap maps, which is great. True, the other models I have can also run OpenStreetMap, but as far as where it runs best, this one right here. And believe me, I have tested OpenStreetMap on pretty much every model I have. The one that has never given me an issue, never, is the Essentials line. Again, 42, 44, 52, 54. Bear in mind when I say that, I'm not talking about the Drive 52. I'm talking about the nuvi 52, 54, and 42 and 44. Excuse me. Yeah, these are the ones that they don't give me problems. That's the thing. It's true. You don't even see the street name at bottom. This thing is so basic. Unbelievably basic. Even in the turns list, I can go forward turns, but not back. You know, deleting a favorite requires actually going to where to favorites and tapping on the favorite and hitting delete just to delete a favorite. It is so basic, this thing. But that is why this thing lasts. It just does. For a little bit of a Christmas present to me this year, I guess you could say, I did buy another 42 LM and a 54 LM just like this one as backups. Yeah, absolutely as backups. Because it's one of those things where I know the capacitive screen models, I know they're going to cause problems. I just know. I've had models in the past where you get the infamous white line goes across. That's not to say this doesn't happen to matte screens, but the likelihood of it happening to a matte screen is much less. And also, these run much cooler compared to a capacitive. I mean, we'll take like the 2599, one of my all-time favorite Garmin's. It does run hotter than this. It does. This thing uses the least amount of power and therefore barely. I mean, sometimes it'll get a little warm in the back when it's charging, just a little bit, but never, hot. And that's not to say the 2599 doesn't get hot. But yeah, if you're charging from a stone dead battery and you plug that in, you'll be able to feel some heat coming off the back of that. Nothing too overly concerning, but still, you feel it. It's like, not this one. You just put your hand to the back of this, even on a stone dead battery, it gets a little warm, and then it charges right up. Another thing about this is that this does not have a sleep mode. Because if I go and hit the power button, if I tell this thing to power off, it is truly off. Truly. It's the last one that did this before the 2497, 2597 that came shortly after this. Yeah, those have the sleep modes and stuff, which I've never liked. This one, though, no. When it's off, it's off. And the great thing about it is that you have it plugged into the car, and you go and you park, and you turn off the key, and it will say, I'm turning off in 30 seconds. And it's not lying to you. This thing will actually shut itself off completely. That's why it is so rare to find one of these with a battery that will not charge. I won't say it's impossible. I've come across a few with totally dead batteries, but the thing is, it's rare. And speaking of which, in addition to that, even if you come across these that does have a stone dead battery, it'll still work. It'll still work. There are some nuvis, especially the later ones with the capacitive. 2599 is a good example of this. If that battery is absolutely, totally dead and it won't hold a charge anymore, the unit won't work. But this will. I could even take the battery out of this thing. I could just unplug it and take it out. It would still work. Yep. And that's because of how basic this thing is. So, and the reason I put this video together is that, okay, well, I want something to last. If you ever ask the question, I want something that will last a really long haul. Or I want something I can put in the glove box of my car and leave it there for months, years, to where I could just take it out of the glove box and plug it in, and I just want it to work. This guy right here, or one of the four. Again, 42, 44, 52, 54. Ridiculously basic. I know I've said that several times, but there's nothing to break. That's the whole thing. It has the most resistance to cold, the most resistance to heat. It does, and speaking of heat, it doesn't generate hardly any heat at all. There are replacement batteries for this thing readily available on eBay and other places. Yeah, again, no traffic reporting, no Bluetooth, no smartphone, none of that, but it will stand the test of time. And 10 years from now, and I may be one of them, there are going to be people that are still using these things